Every song is sung, when every bell's been rung, when every picture's hung, I still love you. Oh. Hello. Welcome to the Mermaid Tavern. So, yeah. Sláinte va, skål, bottoms up, bless you. So this great George Harrison song, which you'll know if you're a Beatles fan, you'll know it. Maybe just like a serious Beatles fan, you'll know it. But a lot of people would not know this song because, of course, if you're a serious Beatles fan, you'll know it was never released. Where it was released, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me read some quotes about the song. This is George also. When I wrote Every Song Is Sung, I entitled it Whenever. I thought this would be a good one for Shirley Bassey. Then Ian Inglis, he wrote a book called Icons of Pop. He said it has the potential, lyrically and musically, to become one of his loveliest creations. As it stands, it's an unfinished masterpiece. Absolutely, yeah. Had a long, troubled recording history, this song, but I can't remember when the first time it was I heard it. Over 20 years ago. It was on a bootleg. There is a version of it out there. It's on YouTube, and it's just under 5 minutes long. I'll put a link in the description to it. It's also on SoundCloud as well. You know it, don't you? It's a quality George song, this. And it was recorded during the All Things Must Pass sessions, 1970. And according to, there's a guy who wrote a book, can't remember now. According to him, he said there were 44 attempts at it, 44 takes of this song. So it obviously meant a lot to George. It's unfinished. In George's demo, there isn't really a chorus to it. And it goes on. It's really nice. There's some good playing on it. You know, it kind of fascinated me in the same way Now and Then did. I saw Now and Then a long time ago out there, a demo of it, and I thought, yeah, this has got potential. And Paul, of course, did see the potential in that, and he kept with it. But why has this one not been put out? Now, you'll know there's a lot of good. There's a murky history to this song, involving legal stuff as well. Beatle suing Beatle or threatening to sue. We're going to talk about all that. It's a good story, this one. George loved this song, obviously, and it meant a lot to him. Shirley Bassey had a big hit in summer of 1970 with Something. Of course, From Abbey Road, as you know, it just come out the year before. That was a big hit for her. First big hit she'd had for a number of years, I think. And she said she had an interview in the press or something, if I remember rightly, where she sort of joked that she and George could be the new Dionne Warwick and Burt Bacharach, you know, because of their partnership. I think, according to George, saw this, wrote the song for her, with her in mind, you know, but she wasn't interested. I think by then, 1970. When did Diamonds Are Forever come out? Diamonds Are Forever. She had a big hit with that. I mean, that was the first James Bond film I remember lining up to go and see that. I was young. But yeah, so anyway, Shirley didn't record it. So George gave it, apparently 44 attempts at the All Things Must Pass sessions. Some people on forums and things seem to suggest that it wasn't recorded during the All Things Must Pass sessions. But I think possibly they might be getting confused with a few years later when there were sessions for Ronnie Spector. She was going to have a record, an LP on Apple Records, but it didn't materialize. I think Try Some By Some, that song came out on Apple Records, that one single produced. Phil Spector was like apparently freaking everybody out. So that's why it didn't happen, but she was going to record that song. So I think possibly people might be thinking that, it's not almost All Things Must Pass, it's 72, but everything I've read leads me to believe, including Wikipedia, everything I've read leads me to believe this was recorded sort of, May to October 1970 at Abbey Road. I think some of the sessions were done at Trident, the studio in Soho. Yeah, 44 takes of the song. He just couldn't get it right, because the demo has huge potential. You can listen to it, but it's unfinished. The lyrics are not really decipherable, but it has real potential there. This song doesn't even have a chorus in it. It's just apparently. I mean, it says this on Wikipedia, so I'd take it with a pinch of salt. Mary Hopkin had, of course, another famous Apple recording artist had a stab at doing it, and then Cilla Black, kind of just after the concert for Bangladesh, I think, as I read it, in 1972, they did a version with Cilla. George did a version with Cilla at the Apple studio, which was, of course, still the Savile Row, the basement, and had a stab at it there. But Cilla had turned up after having been to the dentist and couldn't sing. Well, that's a bit odd, isn't it? But then Cilla went back and recorded it later on. 1974, 1975. There was a producer called David. Most famous one I look on his list is the "It's a Heartache, Nothing But a Heart." The Bonnie Tyler song. He produced that a little bit later for Bonnie Tyler. That didn't come out either. Of course, neither did Ronnie Spector's version of it. So we're getting into the sort of territory of a lot of people recording this not coming to fruition. Is this because George is a perfectionist and he doesn't like how they've done it? Is this a song that's so special to him that he really wants this done the right way? Very rightly so. It's his song. He's very proprietorial about it. We know that, of course, George wrote some great songs for other people. Just like John and Paul had written the songs for those other people in the 1960s. George seems to have got his confidence, doesn't he? After a lot of his great songs being denied release in later albums, and that's why they all mounted up for All Things Must Pass. He seems to have got his confidence, his mojo in songwriting. Writing for Cilla Black, writing for other people. Of course, he wrote It Don't Come Easy, didn't he? I think Ringo got the credit for that, but it was George's song. And then he kind of co-wrote Photograph. George, and A Sour Milk Sea, that great song that Jackie Lomax recorded. George was really flourishing as a great songwriter. All Things Must Pass is just great, and it's one of my favourite. I don't know whether that, Plastic Ono Band and that, depending on my mood, are my favourite. I love Plastic Ono Band there, John Lennon Plastic Ono Band 1970. But sometimes I'm in the mood for All Things Must Pass. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Then there was Leon Russell. Now, Leon Russell, he died a few years back. Has been a friend of George's. I think Delaney and Bonnie, the original Delaney and Bonnie and Friends. They'd Accept No Substitute. Was that the name of the album? It was originally going to be on Apple Records. I've got the album actually, but it came out on another record label because it was. And so Leon had played with Delaney and Bonnie. Had become friends with George. That's right. He played at the concert for Bangladesh, didn't he? Yeah. And then he had his wife Mary, and apparently they wanted to record it. They were doing a session in LA. I think George was in on it again, and they were wanted to do it, but nothing happened. So there we've got George's original demos, 1970. We've got Ronnie Spector attempting it, 1972. Cilla, same year, 72, and then 74. Perhaps Mary Hopkin. Don't know that's true. And then we've got Leon Russell. None of these happened. And then apparently Ringo is in on that session in LA for Leon Russell. Really has a lot of love for the song and asks George to record it for his Ringo's Rotogravure album. The one with the magnifying glass, that one. George was supposed to be attending the sessions. Again, I've read a few different theories as to why. Some say he had hepatitis. He couldn't, for whatever reason, attend the session. So Ringo had a producer on this called Arif Mardin. I think that's it, Arif Mardin. And George wasn't there on it. And then he had Have you heard it? It's on YouTube.
It's actually pretty good.
Every bell's been rung, every picture's hung. I was love you. Woo-hoo! Hey, isn't that's good, isn't it? And the guitar there is Lon Van Eaton. Lon Van Eaton, along with his brother Derek, they had an album on Apple Records called Brother, wasn't it? And was the song called single called Warm Woman? I've got these because I've collected the UK Apple record label for a number of years now, for over 40 years, in fact. And there's only one I haven't got, and that's another video. But yeah, so Lon Van Eaton was doing that great guitar work there, and really nice guitar work. It's kind of reminiscent of George, but George didn't like it and threatened to sue. You know, do you remember the Michael Aspel interview in the 80s? There's a moment where George and Ringo.
So in the end, I said, sue me if you want, but I'll always love you.
Bless him. So, but yeah, he threatened to sue him apparently, but it didn't go. It didn't go any further than that, as what I understand. It was all very fashionable in those days to sue everybody. George had that song, didn't he, called "Sue Me, Sue You Blues"? You know, it was like that. You know, that everybody was suing everybody else in the 1970s. You know, suddenly everybody became amazingly litigious. I remember I get up in the morning, sue someone, checking the papers, I've been fired. Go to the office, sue someone, pick up the morning's writs, sue the bank. Go to lunch, sue the restaurant, go back in, collect the writs that have been received that afternoon, read the papers, phone the papers, sue the papers, then go home. Sue the wife. The Ruttles, Eric Manchester. If you don't know, that's Michael Palin doing sort of Derek Taylor type. Eric Manchester talking about the souk. I've got it. As you probably know if you've watched me before, I have to get a bit of the Ruttles into every single time I talk about the Beatles. Well, almost every time. I don't think I did last time, did I? He didn't. What didn't he like about Ringo's version of it? That guitar is amazing. Was that bridge the invention of the producer, Arif Mardin? And then George didn't like that. Did he not like that? Did he feel as though he didn't like the mix? Aspel interview says he doesn't like the mix. So, yeah, I think in conclusion, it's clear this song meant an awful lot to George. You know, I mean, why else would he threaten to sue his old mate? Why else? You know? His old mate, Ringo. Is that because George was really kind of perfectionist about this? He wanted this. This song meant a lot to him. You know, why didn't he revisit it later on too? We know he did revisit. What was it? Not Guilty. That song that was rejected from the White Album ended up being on George's 1979 album, just called George Harrison, which is a really good album. That I really like it. Do you? Not Guilty is all right. It's not a particularly distinguished track. It's all right, but you know, I'll Still Love You. When every song's been sung, whatever, whenever, all those titles he had for it, that would have been a great song to revive then, wouldn't it? But no, maybe he thought it was bad luck because the song had this long, complicated history. Maybe he thought initially after trying it out in the All Things Must Pass sessions, no, it's not for me. It's for somebody else. That's why, and because those somebody else's didn't do it, and then Ringo did it, and not satisfactorily. Incidentally, Cilla's version in 74, 75 did eventually come out on a compilation of Cilla's. I think, as I understand it, a CD box set compilation in like 2003. So after dear George had passed away, bless him. So he didn't get to see that one. Did you not hear that one? So that is Ringo virtually remade Cilla's version of it with the because Cilla was the first one to have the chorus. I'll still love you. Yes, I'll love you. Yes, I will. And I'll love you, love you, love you. Always will. Until. So, yeah. Ringo virtually remade it. But of course, the thing that distinguishes Ringo's version of it is that great playing by Lon Van Eaton, that instrumental guitar bridge in the song, too, which is, I think, makes it. Of course, Ringo's voice is buried in that mix. It's the one criticism I make of it. It's buried in that mix. It would really benefit, wouldn't it, from a remix? But from what I understand, Ringo's not interested in his 1970s albums anymore, which is a shame, isn't it? But that song really could do with a remix, to bring his voice up to the front. That song is. I love that song. I've got a lot of love. Still had a lot of love for the song. But it's a wonderful song. I think the song is actually up there with George's stronger songs. I think, for me, that song is up there with, if it had been finished, it was on All Things Must Pass. It would have been a song to rival and far surpass. I think All Things, a song to rival and I think surpass My Sweet Lord. I think the song is up there with George's best Beatles work. It's a little bit reminiscent of one of my favourite George songs, "Long, Long, Long." It's been a long, long, long time. Do-do-do-do. There's a little bit in its chord structure reminiscent of that, a little bit, but not so much that it matters. "I'll Still Love You" is still enough of a powerful song without, but you can see a little bit of a similarity there. But yeah, I think that "I'll Still Love You" is really up there with "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," something. "There Comes the Sun." I think if that song had come out, it would have been really up there with something. Do you not think? Is it just me? But I love that. Anyway, yeah, the same conclusion. I hope the song comes out. Danny Harrison, if you're watching, please put your dad's song out there. Why didn't it appear on the All Things Must Pass Super Deluxe? Why wasn't it on there? That was its rightful home. It needs to be known by everybody. It needs to be out there, even just a working demo. There must be some better demos if it's true. There are 44. Is that true? Danny, work on it get Jeff Lynne in. Work on it again. Bring it out. I mean, it would have been nice if it had been in the Living in the Material World movie. The one, the documentary movie that Martin Scorsese did. That would have been nice. That would have been. I wonder if it will ever materialize now. Oh, anyway, even if it doesn't, I'll still love you. I'll still love you. Oh, bless you for listening to me again. Go on, rambling on about this, but I think it's a really lovely song. Tell me what you think in the comments. Listen to it. Listen to Ringo's version of it. It's out there. Listen to Cilla's version of it. Lot of love for that song. Lot of love for that song. Listen to both and see where. Particularly listen to Ringo's version of that great Lon Van Eaton guitar, and ask yourself, why did George? What problem did George have with that? Bless you for watching. Bless you for your company. As always, bless you. Will I see you again? I sincerely hope so. Bless you.